Welcome everyone to the Top Producer Mindset. Excited to have Rachel here. We just dropped some amazing news that we're going to be having more commercial products through none other than Rachel Garcia, CEO, founder of CRE Capital. I'm sorry. Let me get that straight. And I'm actually very excited to have you here. I've learned a lot about you. You've done amazing things. And what I want to do in this podcast is just hear your story. Let's get it out there. Let's see how you went from, an inexperienced person to what I consider a commercial expert. So if you don't mind introducing yourself and we'll start from there.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. Super honored to be here. Very exciting news. We have now partnered up. So I'm happy to start helping you guys on the commercial side and financing, all of your clients. And so, yeah, I got started about, 13, 14 years ago. I was with Bank of America. I started with a big bank actually out here in Pasadena. And I just worked my way up the corporate ladders. I worked for all three top banks. And I did commercial financing. And believe it or not.
And let me just interject. Did you accidentally fall into it? Like you applied and they put you in the commercial division and you just kind of owned it? Or did you already have a commercial coming in with a commercial background?
No, that's a great question. So I actually was a business owner. I had a women's clothing boutique. And so I had that boutique for about a year. And I felt like, you know what, this is just, I was young at the time and it was, a business, but did I know how to run a business? No. Did I like, having my own business? Of course, but I didn't know the responsibilities that came with owning my own business. So a year later, I got bought out and I decided, you know what, when I was a business owner, I really struggled with all the things that come with owning a business. I just had the vision. I wanted to sell, amazing clothes and be able to, help, other people look fashionably amazing, but I didn't know what came with actually running a business.
Were you in fashion or
yeah?
You were a fashion designer or clothing or
no? I've always, I feel like the way that you dress represents who you are. And so I've always dressed in a way where I just want to make sure that it's a statement. Like, this is who I am. Like, what I'm wearing represents me and how I carry myself and who I am as a person. So I opened up that boutique. And as I mentioned, I got bought out after a year. And through that process, I took a year off and I just traveled everywhere. And I was like, okay, what do I want to do now? And I said, you know what? I want to help business owners with their own financing. Like, what's the importance of opening up a checking account for your business versus keeping it on your personal? What's the importance of having a business credit card, a line of credit for the business to keep the business running? And then also eventually it got to commercial real estate financing. And that's how I started getting into commercial. And honestly, it's become a passion. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I love it.
That's amazing. I mean, because I got into the residential side by accident. I wasn't really looking to do loans when I got into it, right? I graduated from Santa Barbara and I needed just to start paying bills right away. I know I wanted to do social work. I know I wanted to do something to impact people positively. And I just luckily landed in the business that I was in. I loved it. I embraced it. But one thing I never really wanted to dabble into was commercial. That's why, I look at you, I admire you. You're a brave soul. And just because we know, and I know the differences between, residential financing, which is a 1 through 4 that we're, accustomed to, and then the commercial. And for me, I don't know for you, and I'm going to ask you this question, but for me, I just like to be able to run the automated underwriting engines, not depend on anyone telling me that this can't be done because of this or that. And, my experience with commercial was that it's pretty much open to what the lender's risk levels and comfort levels and all these things are. And you start working in a transaction to find out that one little tiny thing may derail the whole thing. And I just couldn't really, it pushed me away where I said, like, I don't even want to dabble in it. I'll let someone deal with that because I want to be in control. What's your response to that?
Honestly, that's you're not the first person to tell me that. I feel like everybody that has talked about commercial thinks exactly that, and that is the reality of it. But to be honest with you, for me, because I have such a deep background and I have so many years of experience, like I know when a deal can move forward or not, like without the underwriter telling me. Like of course I have, we have our underwriter in house and everything, but I already more or less know just looking at the numbers, like, are we going to be able to make this happen? And most importantly, as a broker, we have the flexibility to be able to offer more products. So for example, if you have a business owner that hasn't cash flowed in the past, that has been in business for many, many years, but hasn't really cash flowed, well, we can always take a projection base and kind of paint the picture to the underwriter of this is how we can get it done because this is what they plan to do the next 2 years and this is how we plan to get there. So this is what I love because you get to know, you get to understand the business, you get to understand the borrower, you get to understand the full business. And to be honest with you, everybody has a story, everybody. So it's just a matter of understanding that story, piecing it together and selling it to the underwriter. And that's really how you get stuff done. But for me, it's just a passion. So I could do this with my eyes closed. But yeah, when you're in the residential side, I feel like it has become a challenge for residential lenders to get out of that mindset into the commercial space. Like, sometimes I get referrals and to this day, I crack up because I will tell them repeated amount of times, like they'll send me a package, like they're sending it to on residential, like they put the driver's license up front, they put all of that. Like we don't need any of that stuff on the commercial side. We need to first make sure that the numbers make sense and then kind of take it from there. So it's a different approach. And it's also very transactional, which on the residential side, it's not transactional. It's very emotional, very, there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm sure you can, touch on that. But I feel like on the commercial, it's like we're doing this or not. Like it's very black and white. Like there's no gray areas or in between.
Right. So what I got from what you're saying is that you've developed like this kind of intuition where you can kind of review everything and kind of have a good projection of where the deal may go or may not go, and
Correct.
and that's all just from years of doing it.
And
And
asking the right questions, really.
yeah, and then also, you're a storyteller. You're painting the picture in the underwriter's mind of why this should be done, why you should feel comfortable with the underwriter. I mean, with this transaction. And so, yeah, I get what you're saying. It makes total sense, and that's what you get with a good loan officer, someone that's solution oriented and someone that has experience and someone knows exactly what the mind of the lender that you're going to submit to. So it seems like you
Exactly.
addressed all those things. I'm confident. I feel like I would want you to help me with all my commercial deals because,
Yeah.
and this is for loan officers that think that they can do it all. I mean, it's a whole different animal. And yes, I think, Rachel does have programs where you can actually, if you want to dive into it, and you can always reach out to you, and we'll talk about that later. But be real, like if you're residential, stay in your lane and let the experts that know what they're doing do the commercial stuff, because it could be time consuming. One little mistake you make can make the whole deal fall apart, and you definitely need guidance, especially the bigger the deal, I'm assuming, right?
Exactly. And sometimes not personally me, ask me anything about residential. I have no idea because I've never tapped into that market. I know from what I hear and from what I see, but other than that, I don't really know much about residential and I don't ever plan to tap into that market because it's just not for me. It's not what I'm interested in, what my passion is. However, if I were to get something, of course I'm going to take it to an expert that knows what they're doing, such as yourself, right? So this is the importance of building those relationships, building those partnerships, so you're not losing out on the money, you're or the opportunity where you're not turning down your client like, no, sorry, we don't do commercial. Now you can house them and say, you know what, we have a division and we have a partnership with CRE Capital. Let me send it over. Let me get you connected, or let me send that over. But that's the importance of building these relationships, is having those avenues where you don't have to sound like the expert, like, oh yeah, I know commercial and I can help you. No, it's like, if you don't know, you know what, I don't know, but I have a partnership with somebody that can assist you.
Yeah, and this is gonna work great because, like, from my experience, most residential loan officers, they'll get a deal, commercial deal here and there, and sometimes they get it not because they're looking for it, just because that bar that they're helping buy their home happens to own, let's say, mechanic shop, and they happen to own the shop that they're running their business out of, and they say, "Hey, by the way, I my rate's not good in this, or it's coming due, and is there any way you can help me?" Right? Me personally, I'd be like, I don't do commercial. You're gonna have to, do this. But now we have a solution. Now we don't have to send them away.
Exactly.
Customer can feel happy that we're keeping everything in
In
house,
house.
and you have the perfect partner that can help you put that deal together. And me as a broker, don't know much about commercial, so the best way to do things is just to go directly to Rachel, because she'll be able to assist you. I mean, 1 through 4 for me, expert, and what
5+ for me, expert.
exactly. So this is why this is a perfect marriage or complement, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
she's helping us fill in those voids that a lot of us. I've seen you guys get frustrated with wanting to put a commercial deal and not even knowing where to start, and for me myself, not even being able to give you the guidance of where to start. Well, now we have that great solution. I'm excited, and getting back to your story, you got the commercial experience, you opened up CRE Capital, and what's the big vision? Like, where's your future? What are things looking for you? Because I know you're doing amazing things. I see you speaking now. I see you very active in social media. It seems like you got a lot of things going, and now you're flying back and forth from Florida.
Yeah.
And so what's the future hold here for CRE
Yeah.
Capital?
So, I mean, honestly, just to continue to expand and continue to, really help on the residential side, to help you guys and really be a resource for you guys. Because to be honest with you, I know what that feels like. When I first started in the commercial space, which was, over a decade ago, I also struggled. Everybody's going to struggle in the beginning, right? And so having to find the right people to give you those tools and those resources is very crucial. Like, it's you don't see that. And what I've been seeing is you'll have commercial brokers try to partner up with you, take half of your commission, and then at the end, most of them don't even pay you.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is not the type of reputation that I want to have. And that is not the type of partnerships that I want to have. I want to be able to be a resource for everybody. And for you to think, okay, you know what? I'm a residential lender. I have this commercial scenario. Let me take it to Rachel, because she, her team will be able to help us with this. And I can trust her to give her my client, and she's going to take good care of my client. Right. And so I think this is the big vision for us, is to be able to really be a resource for all the residential, lenders that are out there, that want to get into commercial, want to learn it. That's how I started my coaching program as well, for the how-tos and all of that step by step on how to do it, or to simply refer it over and have us help you take care of it. That's really, the big vision for us.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing that with us. It's amazing, your story. And in fact, I want to delve a little deeper into it. What drives you, what motivates you? I want to get into your inner self. Like, what are a couple of takeaways that you can give some of us? Because I see all these great things that you're doing. And I know, life is tough and challenging, and a lot of people make excuses to not move forward and follow their dreams. And, I liked when you shared with us about how, you're running your own business, and a lot of people don't have that mindset. What about Rachel moves her? What drives her? What, you don't mind sharing that with us?
Of course, of course. So for me, it's really about having that motivation, right? What motivates you? What keeps you going? What makes you show up every day? Sometimes there are days where I don't want to, I don't want to go to work, or I don't want to do what a lot of the stuff that we do. Sometimes we don't want to do half of that stuff, right? So it's a matter of doing the stuff that you don't want to do, getting it out of the way. And once you get over that, like everything else just runs smoothly. And I feel like for me, for a really long time, I mean, I didn't just wake up here, right? It took me years of, hard work and dedication. And for me, to be honest with you, was myself. I
Yeah,
was always in my own way.
yeah, and in those moments where like your mind's trying to talk you out of like moving forward, how do you overcome that?
That's a great question. So it's a matter of finding what motivates you. First of all, finding your why. What is your why? Why are you doing this? Right. And then from there, just taking that why and just really like, you know what? I'm going to get up and do this because this is my why. I need to do it for my family. I need to do it for, whatever it is. And so I think that's the key is finding your why and then just doing it for that. And just really showing up every single day, whether you're motivated or not. Show up every day. I wake up early, I read, I go to the gym, and that motivates me. I find stuff that really gets me going, gets my energy going. When you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, everything else just falls into play. Like everything else just, it's like a domino effect, right? And so imagine if I don't feel good about myself and about my energy, my body, or whatever it is, that's going to reflect on my business. That's going to reflect on whatever else that I'm doing. So it's a matter of showing up for yourself every day to be able to deliver for everybody else and showing up your best self.
That's amazing, and I can totally identify with that. Just having that reason why you're doing things and reminding yourself, like like no, this is way more important than me trying to be lazy or trying to get out of it, right? And I think what happened for me, and I don't know if you could identify with this, but for me, the more I practice overriding that, don't do this, don't do that, or just stay home, or couch it today. The easier it became over time to like ignore that voice and continue to doing. And the other thing for me was just the little wins, right? So every day you show up, you maybe you got that one application, maybe it didn't go anywhere, but you got it, and then the next day you funded a loan, and all the little wins just kept me going because I could see a progression and I could see that this is going to lead to something, and
Of course, they start stacking up.
start stacking up. And that's kind of what I got from what you were sharing. And I
Yeah.
totally understand that. And if you guys are, thinking about, if you guys are having this personal battle where you're not motivated and you're not inspired, then just, watch.
Find something to
Yeah.
inspire you. Really,
Yeah.
that I feel like for me, I have, I have certain I have goals, right? I have certain goals, and every day I remind myself of those goals and why do I have those goals and what is in those goals, right? And so from there, that kind of starts to inspire me. I mean, if you need some type of motivation, meditate. And for me, I manifest through my meditations, really. And that really gets me going. I get super excited. Like I just saw my vision of, my house and my, whatever it is, my family, the traveling. I mean, I love to travel. I love, love, love to travel. I travel once a month, if that. And so for me, that motivates me. And so when I'm meditating and I'm manifesting while I'm meditating, as soon as I'm done with that meditation, I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, let's get this going. Like all right, where's our next deal? Like, how can we get our next deal? And how are we going to get there? And so it's just a matter of finding ways to motivate yourself. So whether it's through reading a motivational book or even reading an educational book or watching a podcast, that motivates you, that's like, you know what, I'm going to get out of this couch and really go do something with my life because I'm motivated and I want to be where he's at or I want to be where she's at. So just find what motivates you, find your drive, find your why, and then just get it done. And it has to be bigger than you because if it's not, you're not going to move out of that couch. Your vision really, really has to like get you like super excited and pumped up and going. Otherwise, it's not going to move you. It's not going to do anything.
Wow, that's awesome. That's that. You got me excited and pumped. Now I want to go. I want to go close some deals right now, right?
Yeah.
But no, that's great for you guys that are listening out there. And the great thing about people like me and Rachel, we're actually reachable. You could email us, reach out to us. We're here to help. We're here to service people. That's what we thrive off of. We love when we see one of our team members win. We love when, we see you guys closing deals and we were able to help. And this is, why Equity Smart came about, because we wanted to provide a premier service to our loan officers where they can, we create this environment where they can close loans and real estate transactions and have wins for themselves, right? Share what we've shared, share our experiences with them so that they can grow. If they win, we all win, right?
Exactly.
That's
It's a
my
win-win
motivation.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a great journey for me, and I'm sure it's for you. And I know we have a long ways to go. For the first time in my life, I think about 2 years ago, I'm excited to come in on Mondays. I actually love, I look forward to coming in on Mondays and because there's a lot of work to be done and there's so much, and you start leveling up, you start going higher and higher, then you don't want to stop and it doesn't feel like work. And I'm sure your work no longer feels like work, right?
It doesn't. It doesn't. Especially when you're out there helping others. My plan is to, because I've been originating for such a long time and I've done very well for myself. Now my plan is to really help others originate and be a resource to others and provide them the knowledge, the tools, the resources for them to be able to originate and be able to do, what I've been doing all these years. So I'm excited, and that's what motivates me is like when, I have some of my, students and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I closed on this deal. Like, thank you."
Isn't that the best, right?
Oh
when
my
you
God,
took someone from scratch and now they're
that's when
closing deals.
you're
Yeah.
doing something right. And that motivates me. That gets me up and going.
Yeah. So then we were perfectly identified there. So before we wrap things up, because I know we're running out of time, and what is the last couple books you read? Just because I'm curious, and I'm sure everyone's curious. You did mention that you're reading, so
Yeah.
what recommendations do you have?
I mean, there's a few. Just recently, I just got Your Breakthrough Year. That one's a pretty good one. I just actually started reading it. It's with Tim Story and Junius Page, something like that. But yeah, it's the Breakthrough Year. Your Breakthrough Year. That's pretty good so far.
But what book do you have? Like I say, this book really changed or do you have any?
Gosh, there's a few. I mean, I don't know. There's a few. I have like a full list, to be honest with you. There's Your Millionaire Mindset.
Okay, I read that one too. That was a really good one.
That was a good one.
That was a long time ago, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for listening to our podcast here. We're going to share all our contact information. Rachel, you want to share how we can get a hold of you or how anyone can get a hold of you? I know that if you're a loan officer listening with the Equity Smart, you're going to be able to find her on our portal, and we're going to be sharing her information with you. But anyone outside of that, how would they be able to get a hold of you?
Yeah, of course. I believe you guys will be putting my information on the podcast, but you guys can find me on Instagram at CRE_capital_investments. I'm also on LinkedIn, CRE Capital or Rachel Garcia. You can just look us up there. We have a pretty good, presence on LinkedIn with, all of our business people. And so, yeah, I mean, you guys will be linking the email as well. So please feel free to send us an email, and we're always happy to help.
All right, Rachel, it's been a joy. It's been wonderful. And thank you for, coming out here and spending a little time with us, getting to know you a little bit better. I think the audience, now knows you a little bit better. We're all excited, and we look forward to working with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.